Bellular says 64% less Mythic plus World of Warcraft's health. How much did people play in 9.1? 64% less Mythic plus. This is insane. This is genuinely insane. What a massive drop it'll have to be.
Shortly after 9.1 released, we put out this video. It was an investigation into how well Shadowlands 9.0 had done, based on the publicly available numbers.
I believe that this was that video where I made the claim that potentially World of Warcraft could be below 1 million. I feel like 9.1.5 probably and Season of Mastery brought a lot of those players back. I still think that World of Warcraft total, that's like retail plus classic, at this point is probably sub 2 million, I would wager, but I could be wrong.
It was a pretty damn enlightening video, to say the least. Well, today we are going to cap off patch 9.1, work out how well it has done, and give ourselves a baseline against which we can measure the performance of 9.1.5 once it's been out for a few months. Why? Well, so we can learn, understand, and hey, hopefully for 9.2 and 10.0, track WoW's comeback, because that is what we all want to get, along with Boxu, the place.
Track WoW's comeback? Bellular, I hope you're right, dude. I hope you're right, man.
To get a slice of Japan each month, and of course, 10% off up to $47. Their boxes give you a super fun journey through Japanese snacking, as in these literally are Japanese snacks they ship from Japan, and they even partner with snack makers for some really cool, unique treats. It is the perfect gift, and you may even win tickets to Japan, because Boxu are giving away 5 sets,
I want to go to Japan.
You're eligible if you're subscribed before the end of December. So good luck with that. Now then, it is Hokkaido holidays in this month's box. Now we got some awesome things. Mochi puffs. These are crazy. They're like lighter than air. They're mad. I've never tasted anything like them. They're so
mochi.
cool.
Mochi
Also, the interesting popcorn quest continues, because these are soy butter, and they are really, really good. We've also got some wasabi crackers. I pretty much love wasabi. I can't get enough of it. Also, I think I've...
Wait, did he say wasabi crackers? What the? Holy crap, dude. I'm sorry. Like, look, I love Japanese food. I don't do wasabi, man. I don't do wasabi, and I don't do ginger. I really wish I liked it, though, because I know that... Is it actually called ginger. Yeah. I'm not into the whole ginger root thing. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know. The texture of it is too weird. I can't get into it. Do ghost pepper then? Listen, considering that I don't actually like spicy food, I just don't like the taste of it. I don't like, because here's the thing. I don't like the fact that it's spicy, and I don't like the actual taste of the thing that most things that make food spicy. So it's like, it's one thing if it was just like the spicy effect in your tongue, but it's not that. It's that I actually don't like the taste of the things that make things spicy. So I just don't like spicy food, period.
Never tried before. A corn tea. It was delicious. I was really surprised by that. And, of course, everything else. Now, to get yours, and of course the 10% off link up to $47, hit up our link down below, and hey, you might even get some tickets to Japan. Box is a bunch of fun, makes for a fantastic gift, and the link is down below. Thanks to them, and let's go.
Rating.
First then, let's see how the Sanctum of Domination
Michael misquotes some numbers when reading the graphs. All numbers displayed on screen are correct. Okay.
raid has fared. Okay, well, here is a graph of normal mode first boss versus last boss guild kills in the first 3 months. This is a metric that helps us understand how many guilds are hopping.
Dude, you're talking about normal. You're talking about normal. I'm assuming that normal would include the data from heroic as well, right? Because basically they're tracking, if I remember correctly, they're tracking this stuff through achievements. So therefore, you do the heroic version, you get the achievement for the normal version as well. So this includes heroics. So this will be the biggest number. Only 20,000. Please elaborate. Okay, so it's like, that's right. I keep forgetting that now there's lots of people in here that actually play World of Warcraft. So World of Warcraft, there's 3 difficulties for a raid. No, actually there's like 4. But we don't talk about looking for raid because that's complete hot garbage. So there's normal difficulty, there's heroic difficulty, and there's mythic difficulty. And completing anything in, a higher tier of difficulty, at least back when I was playing, will give you the achievements for the lower difficulties as well. So you complete something in Mythic, gives you the achievement for Heroic and for Normal. So normal first boss kills is going to be the highest number that you're going to see in terms of representations of rating, due to the fact that, although this is only for guilds, so if it's a pug, it's not really counted here because he's saying this is only for guilds. But even still, right, guilds are the ones that clear normal raids the most. Pugs come after because this is still data from the first 3 months. And it's like, this is going to be the biggest rating number that you're going to see, I feel like. And if only 20,000, this is 20,000 guilds, not 20,000 players. So let's say you put an average of like 15 players per guild, maybe. Because like normal has flex, right? So we do 15 times, let's just say 20,000, let's say 21,000, even though it's not, but let's just go with that. That would be 300,000, roughly 300,000 players have cleared the first boss versus like, I don't know. And here we have a little bit less in terms of guilds for the last boss, but still, this is normal. This is a very low amount of players that are playing the game. Even for Castle Nathria, these are pretty low numbers. Just like for a new World of Warcraft expansion, these are pretty low numbers. This is insane. The population drop is massive.
Into the raid, and how many are actually finishing the raid. Now, this number was a little staggering, to be honest. For Castle Nathria, there are 44,312 guild kills of the first boss, and 35,184 for the final boss.
By the way, I'm in one of these, huh? I'm in one of these. We killed Sire the Nathrius on normal back when I was still playing WoW. I'm in this statistic right here.
Yeah, people stuck with it. With Sanctum, there is 20,080 guilds who have killed Boss 1,
God.
and 16,201 that have killed the final boss, Sylvanas. So a pretty decent percentage stuck around to the finish, but overall, there is a difference of around 54.7 in the first and last boss kills between the 2 tiers, which is kind of unreal.
This is what you get when all you think about is fucking systems. This is what you get, Blizzard. All they think about, my system for that. Let me tell you about our system for the fucking sockets of domination. Look at all these sockets. Look at all these shards of domination. Aren't you excited? Fuck no, because it's fucking RNG City and I'm not a fucking clown.
Normal mode players have somewhat evaporated. What about BFA then? Well, this is where it's interesting because BFA had a weaker start with Uldir. 38,319 for Boss 1, 27,223 for Boss 8.
By the way, I'm also in this statistic. Yeah, me and Q are both in this statistic as well. We're in this statistic and the other one.
Of course, the context here is that Shadowlands sold extremely well. Fastest selling PC game ever at its point of release. It seemingly did actually outperform Battle for Azeroth, so it had a massive starting point that was super successful. Now, if we move on with BFA, Dazara lore fell down to 22,061 for Boss 1 and 16,432 for Boss 10, which is actually quite similar to Sanctum of Domination's numbers. But the drop-off between the first 3 months of each tier is larger for Shadowlands. And remember, Shadowlands had a much stronger start with its first tier. So Shadowlands kind of had it all to gain, but ended up losing a bit. BFA guild kills went down by about 41% between Season 1 and Season 2. For Shadowlands, that same number is 55%. Now, normal mode is what many social players do, so it's a vital statistic for the average player base member. These are the people who I think first will wander off to other games. What about heroic mode, though? Well, this one's a bit brutal. So, Castle Nathria to Sanctum of Domination, first boss guild kills in the first 3 months of each respective tier had a 52% decrease. For the final boss, that decrease is 48%. I mean, similar enough to normal, and that means ouch. And take a look at this table. You can see the percentage of guilds that got ahead of the curve within the first 3 months of a given tier. Generally, this number should be between 50 and 67%. That's roughly normal if you look at the past expansions. Nathria was 39.9. I would say likely because by the time some guilds were progressing at the end, some of the issues of Shadowlands had become apparent, but also because there are some bosses like Denathrius and Stone Legion Generals that were a bit harder towards the end, as compared to Sanctum of Domination, which is an easier raid. And as for Sanctum, its number is 43.15%. Now, these two Shadowlands ones are basically all-time lows when compared to past content, where the previous lowest was Tomb of Sargeras. Now, despite this percentage figure increasing in Sanctum of Domination from Castle Nathria, we can see that in more absolute terms, the actual number of guilds participating in heroic raiding has actually fallen by 51.7-ish%. That's over half, compared to BFA.
Here's what you guys got to understand about this particular number, right? Guild participation in heroic raiding, this is the people that are more hardcore into raiding, okay? Like, this is not casual players. Mythic raiders will tell, oh, those people are casuals. Yeah, sure, because when you compare yourself to a Mythic raider, which is like the top 2% of players or whatever, everybody is going to look like a damn casual. But it's like, guilds that do heroic raiding, you're talking about like some of the higher echelon of players, and usually a lot of these, they tend to be dedicated to the game. And a drop-off like this, which has happened both in, I'm assuming, both in BFA and in Shadowlands, is a significant chunk, dude. This is a massive chunk.
By 51.7-ish%. That's over half, compared to BFA. Itself a rather dramatic expansion, and we get Season 1 to Season 2 first and last boss kill decreases of 38 and 36%, which is quite a bit different to Shadowlands, which is a bit more in the 50% range. As for Mythic then, well, this is actually interesting because we see a decrease in first boss kills, which you would expect from launch to a follow-up tier, but we actually see an increase in last boss kills. Now, while not trying to downplay the obvious increase in the number of Mythic guilds that have successfully defeated the final boss of the raid this tier so far, there are a few things we should mention. This tier has been noticeably easier to progress through compared to Season 1. This is due to both raid bosses generally being easier across the board, bar one or two outliers.
Look at this fucking UI, dude. What the fuck? Jesus fucking Christ. There's a little bit of gameplay mixed in your UI, dude. There's a little bit of gameplay in the middle of all that UI. Jesus Christ. Rurikhan, can you find Waldo? I can't find a damn thing, dude. Holy shit. Oh my god, Jesus Christ, dude. I don't miss this at all. This is one of those parts that I don't miss at all. Holy crap. I used to spend like, whenever I would play World of Warcraft, before I would actually start playing, I'd probably spend around 2 hours messing around in my UI, give or take. Yeah, something like that. This is insane. Is this actually Bellular? I think this might actually be Bellular. Yeah, he's playing. Wait, this is a paladin setup. No, this is probably Matt. This is probably Matt, because Matt plays the paladin. I don't even know if this is a holy paladin. Yeah, it is, because he's got beacon. So this is probably holy paladin. This is probably Matt playing.
That have since been nerfed, and, well, bigger power creep seen this time around because, of course, of the Shard of Domination system. Our resident cutting-edge raider, Dakor, certainly felt this as well, and it is actually reflected in the statistics. So here's a brilliant table. You can actually see that every boss in Sanctum of Domination, until the last 3, saw a negative difference between the tiers. That's mostly because the last 3 bosses of Sanctum of Domination are significantly easier than the last 3 of Castle Nathria. Take only the first 7 bosses, and you have a 27% average decrease versus Castle Nathria, which is hardly surprising. This actually further reinforces something we've been saying and thinking for a little bit now. The changes that frustrate and throttle, that hold back those high-end, cutting-edge players, those are changes that those players will just power through. You know? It's like, oh, Covenant swapping? Screw you! I'll make 4 Warlocks. That kind of stuff, or 4 characters, whatever, you know what I mean. I think when confronted with the same friction, heroic and normal raiders are maybe a bit more likely to just swap games. I mean, in a way, you could say that maybe their guilds are a bit less game goal-oriented versus a mythic raiding guild, so I suppose it's no wonder. I mean, that certainly has happened.
Which, if you think about that, it's incredibly interesting that Blizzard is doing these things that essentially only really affect the endgame raiders. Most normal people just go like, well, you know, I can't do all the things that I want to do. Guess I'm going to go do something else. And the people that affect this change the most will just be like, I'll just fucking roll 4 alts. But here's the thing. Blizzard keeps doing it. And you want to know why? Because those people that roll the 4 alts, they're going to need to get 4 legendaries. And that's when you get good old Bobby Kotick. You get that register sound. Cha-ching! Because those people are going to buy the World of Warcraft tokens. Because this is the game that gives them the most enjoyment. And, you know, they'll pump money into this game. And that is why Blizzard, I mean, basically Blizzard is incentivized with the WoW token. Blizzard is incentivized to continuously put roadblocks in front of you. And yeah, and they will probably pay those 60 euros to skip the level 60 as well. They'll use the level boosts. They'll use the WoW tokens. Dude, Blizzard is literally fleecing these people. Like fleecing them hardcore. Like actually just legit taking huge chunks of money from their wallet. It's disgusting. It's beyond disgusting. It's so incredibly anti-consumer, but, you know, Blizzard's like, hey, man, what, these hardcore high-end raiders are giving us like 10 players worth of revenue? This is great. Keep those systems pumping. That's the only thing that matters.
Happened in our guild where, yeah, we wandered off during heroic progression to do other things. Finally, I've got 2 large graphs of this first versus last boss kill data from Nighthold through to now. And for normal mode, you can see that humongous surge of Shadowlands launch and then how quickly it fell off. Yeah, Shadowlands attracted a lot of people, but it lost a higher percentage of them. Heroic follows a similar trend. Last boss kills are at an all-time low for this first 3 months metric that we're using. Now, an anecdote, my guild cleared normal at a pretty average pace, so we blasted through it, and then we struggled with attendance issues during our heroic progression. We reached Fate Scribe, and then our comp just kind of fell apart, really. This
Nobody
was
wanted
at the
to play
time
the
of
game.
peak World of Warcraft discontent, and also the Blizzard lawsuit news, where I can definitely say a lot of our raiders, and really us included, we just kind of felt like, not really super hyped to play the game with all of that going on. So I have to wonder if these heroic numbers better reflect player drop-off, because normal would be pretty easily cleared within the, direct big hype cycle of a fresh patch, and before the lawsuit, versus heroic for your average guild. As for Mythic then, it's what you'd expect. There's not too much else to add that we've not said. So overall then, rating data shows us a higher than normal drop-off during patch 9.1. Heroic last boss kills are at the lowest they have ever been since Nighthold, like for like. Normal is not. And that does make me wonder if the timing of FF14's rise and Blizzard's lawsuit have impacted heroic raid clear rates more than normal. Okay, let's talk about dungeons then.
And here's the thing. Like, most players that go and do Final Fantasy XIV, I think that a large chunk of them will actually stick with 14. Because, I'm saying this because this is essentially what happened to me. Like, again, if you guys remember, I fell off of BFA because of the stupid weekly box and their philosophies behind that, which currently has been upgraded to the Vault, which everybody was so hyped for, despite me basically saying this Vault is, from the beginning I said, this Vault is fucking stupid. It's an evolution of an already stupid system, and I don't understand why people keep, oh my god, the Vault's so good, the Vault's so good, I love the Vault, oh, the Vault, I love getting my rewards on a weekly basis, like if I'm playing a fucking free-to-play game, I'm so smart. But, I dropped off because of the Vault, and I couldn't fucking handle it anymore. And I was ready to give up on MMOs. Period. That was the intention. And then I went to 14 and I was like, well, okay, 14 is actually fucking really good. And, that was the changing point. And I feel like for a lot of players, this is going to be the changing point as well, because Blizzard is finally fucked up to a ridiculous degree. And I think that they're going to be playing the catch-up game for the next decade or so, maybe. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Blizzard launches 10.0 and everybody forgets what the fuck happened during Shadowlands and the fact that Bobby Kotick protects alleged rapists and whatnot, and pay disparities and, all of these other things that I mentioned in the lawsuit. But, people are fickle, man. It is what it is. And I don't blame anybody that wants to play the game, by the way. You do what you want.
Mythic Plus stats are honestly brilliant. We've got access to the total number of M Plus runs done each week from BFA Season 4 to Shadowlands Season 2. Shadowlands started off slow for Mythic Plus, and while 9.0.5 helped a bit, it was in March. That's outside our dataset. BFA Season 4 started stronger and then dwindled over time. But remember, that is comparing the final tier of an expansion versus the start of a new expansion. You would expect a final tier to be lower. Honestly, I'm surprised Shadowlands Season 1 is not higher from its outset. I suppose the only extra factor for BFA Season 4 is people running more dungeons to try to farm corruption gear. Now, Shadowlands Season 2 is of course where we get to the modern day, and it's where things are more interesting. Because Shadowlands Season 2, earlier on in the expansion, actually started below Battle for Azeroth Season 4, but above Shadowlands Season 1, which of course had a slow start. But by week 5 and week 6 of the season, the story is completely different. Season 1 of this expansion is between 800k and 1 million per week, while Season 2 is down around 530k. From that point onward, Season 2 just dwindles. Taking the end of our sample, week 16, we see BFA Season 4 at 507k, Shadowlands Season 1 at 789k, Shadowlands Season 2 at 257k, which is shockingly low compared to Season 1, 16 weeks in. This is where the start versus end of season percentages come in. BFA Season 4 had a 45.9% drop in 16 weeks. Of course, owing to the very, very low start, Shadowlands Season 1 had a 45.1% increase, but Shadowlands Season 2 had a 64.3% decrease. And that honestly surprised me in its magnitude. Season 1 didn't have dungeon teleports, it didn't have the scoring system, it didn't start with Valor points. Season 1 only really started tapering off big after like week 17. Shadowlands Season 2 then had more rewards, yet it dropped off far.
But this was when Blizzard started implementing the thing where you have to run like both during, what's it called? Fortified week. And which one is the boss one? There's Fortified. And there's another one, which I'm forgetting, the one where the bosses are stronger. There's Fortified, which is when the trash is stronger. And then there's the one where the bosses are stronger. I forget the name of it. But basically, there's usually one which is preferred, and I forget which one it is, right? I think it's stronger bosses is preferred, or is it stronger trash that is preferred? I guess it depends on the dungeon. Some dungeons are easier with stronger bosses. Some dungeons were easier. Tyrannical, yeah, that's what it was. Tyrannical for when the bosses are stronger. And basically, players would pick the dungeons based on, you'd get your Raider IO score based on which. It was basically the dungeon and how high the key was the original Raider.io score. But Blizzard's version of Raider.io score included things like the modifiers into the score, and a lot of people were like, well, I don't want to deal with Dungeon X during Tyrannical, or I don't want to deal with Dungeon X during Fortified. And so that also caused a significant drop-off, I feel like.
Faster, which I suppose is concerning. But let's talk about PvP. For PvP, it's nice and quick. We have total rated games tracked by type in EU and NA. We'll focus on 3v3, but as you can see in this graph, the trends are similar between like the different regions and stuff, so I'll just use these numbers. The week of August 9th, we had an average of 29,496 games played per day. Fast forward to the week of October 25th, and that number is 15,171. That's a 48.56% decrease in that region. And that is pretty brutal. Monthly active users then. So the third quarter earnings call came with the news that Diablo 2 Resurrected revenue was really great, but it was partially offset by lower World of Warcraft revenue. And that Blizzard has 26 million monthly active users, which is in fact stable from the last quarter. And being real with you, that's bloody bad news. You gotta remember, Q2 was the 9.1 launch quarter, but 9.1 launched at the very end of June. So anyone who resubbed for it would have been logging in Q3 as well. So those numbers will carry over. Blizzard's Hearthstone promotion then kicked off in September, and
that is what pumped up the numbers. Blizzard's friggin' Hearthstone, the mercenaries bullshit where they're like, oh, why don't you buy 6 months of WoW so that we can pump out our monthly active users? God, dude, it's like, and you might as well call it, we're cooking the books. I mean, they're not actually cooking the books like doing anything financially illegal or something, but they're essentially cooking the books when it comes to their monthly active users.
Remember, you don't count as an MAU just for having a BNet account and using it. You count as one monthly active user for every game that you play at least once per month. So if you log into Hearthstone and then you log into World of Warcraft, you will count as 2 MAUs. So, with heavy promotions, the launch of Diablo 2 Resurrected, which by the way is Activision Blizzard's best performing remaster ever, topping Spyro, Crash, and Tony Hawk.
They don't deserve it! God! How long have I waited, dude? I'm like fucking Illidan up in the fucking, what's it called again? Draenor. I'm like Illidan in Draenor. I have waited for 10,000 years, and now you dare come to my realm? It's like I've waited for that remaster for so long, dude. I can't believe that literally anyone is surprised that that thing did as well as it did, dude. Of course it did. It's one of the best games I've ever fucking made.
With all of that, their MAUs were flat. Combine that with WoW revenue not being great, and I think it does show a general decrease in Blizzard's portfolio that has been offset by D2R selling so well, their servers pretty much exploded. Q4 then will continue to benefit from the Hearthstone crossover, which pretty much had a new thing to log in for monthly, and it will also benefit, of course, from Season of Mastery, patch 9.1.5, a bit probably, and likely the release of like a new TBC phase or something. Mythic Plus had a 64.3% drop in its first 16 weeks. Normal and heroic raids were around half. The span of PvP that we covered is just shy of half as well. These are rough numbers, no doubt. Look, that's just how it is. They do show that 9.1 has not done a great job of keeping players around. I mean, it's no doubt, of course, spurred on partially by the Blizzard lawsuit, and perhaps people knowing that patch 9.1.5 is going to make the game, well, I mean, has made the game a lot better, a lot more playable. And I think a lot of people have maybe decided to skip 9.1 until the fixes in 9.1.5 come out. Because 9.1.5 even uncaps Valor points in Conquest. It opens up the Covenants. The game is far more ult-friendly. And that's why, in a few months' time, I cannot wait to revisit all of these numbers to see what 9.1.5 actually did. Will it stand the time?
What this confirms is like, listen, when a new patch comes out for World of Warcraft, you don't want to play when the new patch comes out. You want to play like 3 to 4 months after the patch comes out where they actually fix all the problems with the patch. You actually get punished for playing World of Warcraft early. So like still, the best time to play World of Warcraft for this expansion is going to be 9.2.5, which is when they're going to remove all of the time getting bullshit from patch 9.2. You're going to be able to just experience the story. It's like, actually, I'll tell you guys what. When they launch 9.2.5, Shadowlands is actually going to be a fucking fantastic experience. If you were to start playing Shadowlands on 9.2.5, you might actually have a good time. The story would still be complete dog shit, but the actual gameplay would actually probably be pretty good.
Will it increase playability? Will more Mythic Keystones be done? Will more Mythic Keystone dungeons be tracked during the Time Walking week? And will we be able to work out how much engagement the Legion Time Walking feature has driven? A lot of fascinating stuff. And look, I know that these numbers do not paint a pretty picture. And because of that, this is bound to some to come off as a very negative video. But look, I kind of like the idea of doing this. It's like a little health checkup for all.
Negative video? Negative video? Jesus Christ. Dude, on how much copium do you have to be to listen to this video and go like, God damn it, Bellular, why you gotta talk trash about my game? It's like, what? Negative video? What the fuck?
World of Warcraft we could run every quarter or every patch. And that means that, you know, if things get better over time, and I dearly hope they will, and we're still making these videos, well, in the future, I want these videos to be able to say, hey, everyone, the numbers have all went up.
Good news, everyone! The slime is flowing again!
People seem to be more happy, and there's more World of Warcraft being played. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if 9.2 does have a decent little, like, bump there, and certainly if 10.0 is going to be a bit more Azeroth-focused, as they very much suggested in interviews lately, then perhaps we will see a big bump in the numbers for 10.0, and I think that would make us all quite happy. You know, numbers go up, people stay, game's good, all's happy. That is the future we want.
No. Seeing a numbers bump is not going to make me happy unless that numbers bump is associated with an actually good expansion. Because if they launch another dog shit expansion and I see numbers go up, that not only does not make me happy, it makes me lose even more faith in humanity. And it makes me think, you know what? A lot of the shit that's happening to us, we probably fucking have it coming.
So, well, whatever happens, we'll be here to track it. Okay, that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks to Dashlane for sponsoring. Check him out in the link down below. With that, I'll see you next time.
Oh, man. Here's the problem. Blizzard has been, as you guys are well aware, Blizzard has been incredibly profit-driven. You know, not even just profit-driven, but more like profit at all costs. Profit at the cost of players, if need be. Profit at the cost of morals. Profit at the cost. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. You think about it, they'll do it. They'll do anything and everything to increase their bottom line. And here's the problem with this amount of drop in player base. Whereas previously it's like, yeah, some of them can go to another MMO for a while, but they'll always come back. Like I said, I don't think that with 14, the whole thing of they're going to come back, it's not going to be like that anymore. Like, they actually need to pull a rabbit out of a hat to make players come back. That's the way that I feel. I could be wrong. Maybe the numbers will go up for 10.0. I mean, I'm sure they'll go up to some extent. Whether or not they'll go up to the extent that is to be expected, we don't know. But here's the interesting thing. If numbers don't go up significantly in 10.0, at that point, then yeah, World of Warcraft is going to be in a managed decline because they're not going to keep pumping money into it. Like, that's it. After the failure that was Shadowlands, if the next one goes down the same line, like, that's it. Don't even bother with it anymore because it's just going to be in fucking life support. Full-on life support mode, 100% guaranteed. And I saw here, Krakatoon, Rurikhan on his question, is Blizzard acting so bad exceptionally, or do similar mishaps occurred with other companies? It's like, other companies have also done significantly fucked up shit, which is to the point where, you know, I don't even feel like it's getting very hard for me to get excited about new games unless they're from a company that I kind of like trust to some extent. Like, I'm excited about Elden Ring because that's by From Software. I'm excited about Sunbreak because that's from the Monster Hunter team. I'm excited about Final Fantasy XVI because that's from Creative Business Unit 3, which are the same people working on Final Fantasy XIV. And it's like, I'm excited about some games that are coming, right? But, you know, even New World, I was excited to try out New World, and I started playing, and I was having a good time. Amazon's also fucked that game into the dirt. And, you know, and you look at, for instance, we were talking earlier about Dragon Age. That's going to get fucked into the dirt too, from what we can tell. And it's like the gaming publishers in general are going down a very dark path. And they're super excited about jumping into the NFT stuff with Ubisoft and even Square Enix and fucking EA. And I don't know if Activision mentioned it as well, but it's like all of these big publishers are like, oh man, we can't wait to jump into these NFTs. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. You're not even trying anymore. You're just like fucking gung-ho about getting as much money as you can, as fast as you possibly can. And it's just disgusting because the growth at which this industry has gone through, it was unsustainable. We all knew that it was unsustainable, but, you know, they've kept on expecting that things were going to keep expanding fucking exponentially forever. And now they're realizing, holy shit, no, gaming is actually a fucking art form. Creating games, this is creating art. We can't fucking rush art. And they keep rushing it and they keep fucking it up. And, you know, I think that the gaming industry is going to see some significant problems moving forward. Like, I think 2021 was a significantly weak year when it comes to gaming. And I think that 2022 is going to be significantly worse. And by the time we get to 2023,